The chamber of glass and light hovered above a blue world like a patient thought. Within it the rulers of many stars gathered, their forms varied, their customs cautious. At the center stood the alien queen named Kira, her skin patterned with natural ridges and shadows that her own people considered a mark of burden. She faced the human envoy named Eli, a quiet man in a simple uniform who carried no weapons and no banners. The council watched with polite distance as protocol unfolded. Kira spoke first, her voice translated into clean tones that filled the chamber. She asked why the human records described her as beautiful when her own mirror said otherwise. Her culture valued symmetry of glow, and she possessed none. To her the word beautiful was reserved for rare queens of legend. "Why call me beautiful? I am ugly human," said the alien queen. The hall waited for offense. Eli smiled and bowed his head. He did not rush. He did not argue. He spoke of humans and their odd habit of finding worth where others did not look. He said beauty was not a trophy to be measured, but a signal that something mattered. He said humans learned this the hard way. The council stirred. Humans had arrived late to the wider sky. Their ships were playing. Their worlds were scarred. Many expected them to posture or plead. Eli did neither. He told a story of his home, of a river once poisoned by greed and fear. When the river died, the people suffered. When they worked together, the river healed. It never shone like crystal again, yet children learned to swim there, and elders learned to forgive. The river was beautiful because it endured. Kira listened with unease. Her people believed endurance was common, and thus unworthy of praise. Yet the humans spoke as if survival itself deserved a song. She asked if humans praised everything that lived. Eli answered no. Humans learned to praise what chose to live for others. A murmur passed through the delegates. Wars were remembered. Treaties were fragile. Kira felt the weight of her crown and the eyes upon her ridges. She asked why a human would praise an alien queen whose fleets had once pushed borders with force. Eli replied that humans were familiar with regret. They had learned that enemies could become mirrors. In those mirrors, humans saw what they might become if they forgot mercy. The queen felt anger rise and then fall. She asked if this was flattery meant to soften her stance. Eli shook his head. He said flattery bends truth, while respect stands beside it. He said the record showed Kira had halted an advance when a frontier world begged for time. That choice saved millions. Humans called such restraint beautiful. Silence settled like snow. Kira had never spoken of that moment. Her advisors had framed it as logistics. Her people praised conquest, not pause. She asked how humans could see meaning in a decision made in doubt. Eli said humans often acted in doubt and hoped to be judged by the harm they refused to cause. The council chair requested evidence of this human ethic. Eli spoke of first contact disasters and lessons paid in blood. He spoke of ships that turned back to avoid panic. He spoke of doctors who crossed fire to treat foes. He spoke calmly, naming no heroes, because to humans the pattern mattered more than the idol. Kira studied the human face. There were lines of age and strain. No glow, no armor of rank. She asked what humans wanted in return for such praise. Eli answered partnership. He said humans sought friends who could disagree without erasing each other. He said the sky was wide, but the future was narrow. The queen felt something shift. She recalled a proverb of her ancestors about stones that bend rivers by refusing to move. She wondered if humans were such stones. She asked how humans survived without unity of form. Eli answered that humans argued constantly and still showed up together when storms came. He said unity of purpose mattered more than unity of shape. A delegate challenged the human. If beauty was endurance, then why did humans celebrate art and elegance? Eli smiled again. He said art was a promise to keep trying. Elegance was what happened when effort learned to listen. Neither replaced endurance. Both honored it. Kira rose from her seat. She walked the length of the chamber, each step echoing through light. She stood before Eli and looked down. She asked a final question. If humans truly believed this, why did they call her beautiful to her face instead of keeping it in their records? Eli answered that courage included speaking respect where it could be refused. He said humans learned that silence could be another wound. The queen closed her eyes. She saw her people as others saw them. She saw the cost of endless proving. She opened her eyes and addressed the council. She declared that the human envoy had not insulted her. She declared that the word beautiful would be permitted to mean restraint as well as shine. Gasps followed. Old laws shifted. She turned back to Eli. She said humans were strange. He agreed. She asked if humans would stand with her if her own houses resisted this change. Eli said humans would stand where promises were kept and where lives were spared. He said beauty would follow. The council concluded. Ships departed. Messages spread. On distant worlds, analysts debated the meaning of a single word. Some laughed. Some worried. Some felt hope. On the return journey, Eli watched stars pass like quiet witnesses. He did not know if peace would last. He knew only that a bridge had been named and that names mattered. On Kira World, the queen removed her crown and placed it beside a window. She studied her reflection and the planet beyond. For the first time, she did not ask if she matched a legend. She asked if she could be worthy of the word she had been given. The future did not answer at once. It rarely did. Yet something endured, and that was enough. The human presence grew slowly. They did not flood markets or preach creeds. They sent teachers who learned local scripts and engineers who asked permission before digging. On border moons, humans repaired relay rings and left behind manuals written in clear language. When storms struck, human ships arrived with modular shelters and left once local crews took over. This pattern unsettled rivals who expected dominance displays. Kira observed reports with careful eyes. She convened councils where dissent was allowed to speak without punishment. Some elders warned that humans used kindness as camouflage. Others admitted the results were hard to deny. Trade stabilized. Piracy fell where mixed patrols flew. The queen insisted on audits and transparency. Humans agreed and shared their own failures without excuse. A crisis tested the new path. A stellar flare crippled habitats across 3 systems. Panic rose like heat. Old doctrine demanded sealing borders. Kira hesitated, remembering the river story. She authorized open lanes and joint command. Human medics adapted alien equipment in hours. Alien pilots guided human ships through radiation pockets. Losses were heavy, yet far less than feared. After the crisis, a child from a rescued habitat sent a simple message to the palace. It thanked the queen for choosing the slower way. The message spread. Symbols changed. Songs followed. Opposition did not vanish. A faction staged a coup attempt, claiming tradition had been betrayed. Kira refused secret trials. She demanded open judgment. Humans offered asylum to civilians caught between sides, but declined to fight unless attacked. When violence broke out, mixed units intervened to protect evacuation corridors. The coup failed without a massacre. In the aftermath, Kira addressed her people. She spoke of beauty again, this time without bitterness. She defined it as the courage to stop before the fall. She honored ancestors by choosing a future that could hold them all. Eli returned for a final session. He carried a small artifact, a stone smoothed by water from his home river. He asked permission to gift it. Kira accepted. She placed it beside the crown. Two weights balanced each other. Years later, historians would debate whether the moment began with a word or with a choice. Humans would say both. Aliens would add that listening mattered. Across the sky, others took note. Not all followed. Some prepared for war. Humans prepared too, but they prepared by building coalitions and teaching languages and setting rules that limited their own power. They called this strength. When conflict came in distant sectors, humans fought hard and stopped when stopping saved lives. They rebuilt even for foes. The pattern repeated until it became expected. Kira grew older. Her ridges deepened. She remained unconcerned. When asked about the first meeting, she smiled and said a human reminded her that mirrors could lie. The word beautiful endured, not as flattery, but as a standard that demanded restraint, memory, and care. It became a bridge word shared across treaties. And so among the stars, a small truth spread. Humanity was dangerous when cornered, stubborn when wronged, and remarkable when asked to see value where others did not. They wondered what lay beneath titles and forms, and answered with work. That answer shocked no one anymore. In time, the Chamber of Glass was rebuilt as a forum for shared law. Its walls displayed not victories, but principles tested by failure. Delegates learned that praise carried responsibility. To call a leader beautiful required proof in outcomes. To withdraw the word required reasons spoken aloud. This practice slowed decisions and saved worlds. Eli retired to teach. He told students that smiling was not softness. It was an invitation to choose better. He taught listening drills and history of apologies. Some laughed and stayed. Some left and returned. Kira planted gardens where weapons once stood. She invited critics to walk there and argue. She lost some debates and accepted them. That acceptance reshaped